The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Jack Reed stepped forward. His weathered face, lined with decades of diplomatic service, betrayed no emotion as he addressed the assembly of alien dignitaries. For 20 years, humanity has warned you about the Veil incursions. For 20 years, you've dismissed our reports as exaggerations. Today, I'm not here to debate. I'm here to inform you that the TSV Nemesis has been activated. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Nemesis was considered a myth, a human propaganda tool, a warship so advanced that most species considered its existence impossible. Ambassador Trell of the Maldorian Confederation rose from his seat, his crystalline exoskeleton glittering under the chamber lights. Ambassador Reed, surely you understand that deploying such a vessel, if it exists, would violate 17 different peace treaties. The treaties became void when the Veil crossed the Armstrong Line, Reed replied. As stipulated in Section 42B of the Mutual Defense Pact, which all of you signed. High Admiral Laurie Thompson stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, watching as the massive warship emerged from its hiding place within Neptune's rings. For 15 years, the Nemesis had remained dormant, a contingency plan that humanity hoped would never be necessary. Status report, Thompson commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of what they were about to undertake. Commander Bill Davis responded from his tactical station. All systems operational, Admiral. Quantum shield at full capacity. Graviton cannons charged. Phase shift engines ready. Thompson nodded. Open fleet-wide communications. The view screen activated, showing the faces of 20 captains commanding the escort vessels that would accompany the Nemesis to the edge of human space. This is not a drill, Thompson began. The Veil have breached the Armstrong Line and destroyed 3 colony worlds. The Council has failed to act. We will not allow another world to fall. On the frontier planet of Novaterra, civilians watched the skies with a mixture of dread and hope. The Veil ships, massive obsidian structures that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light, had appeared in orbit 3 days ago. The planetary defense grid had fallen within hours. In a bunker beneath the capital city, Governor Tom Garcia monitored emergency broadcasts. The evacuation was only 30% complete when the Veil landing craft began their descent. Any word from the fleet? He asked his communications officer. Nothing, sir. All regular channels are being jammed. Garcia closed his eyes. The Veil were not known for taking prisoners. If help didn't arrive soon, Novaterra would join the growing list of dead worlds. That's when the alarms began to sound. Spatial anomaly detected, the sensor officer shouted. Something massive is dropping out of FTL directly in front of the Veil fleet. The Nemesis emerged from hyperspace like an avenging angel, its hull gleaming with a metallic sheen that seemed to shift between states of matter. At 20 kilometers long, it dwarfed even the largest Veil vessel. Target their command ship, Thompson ordered. Let's show them what happens when they ignore our warnings. The graviton cannons charged, drawing energy from artificial singularities housed in the ship's core. When they fired, space itself seemed to bend. The Veil command ship, a structure that had weathered attacks from dozens of species, was crushed, as though it were made of paper. In the council chamber, the alien representatives watched in stunned silence as live footage of the battle reached them. The Nemesis moved with impossible speed for a vessel of its size, its weapons cutting through the Veil fleet like a scythe through wheat. This is what we tried to prevent, Reed told them, his voice tinged with sadness. We asked for your help to contain the Veil peacefully. You chose to ignore us. The Trilaxian representative, an elder named Paul, approached Reed. How? How did humans build something so advanced without detection? Reed smiled grimly. Because you underestimated us. You saw our diplomatic efforts as weakness. You never understood that humans prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. On Novaterra, the skies cleared as the last Veil ship was reduced to debris. The Nemesis hovered in low orbit, its massive shadow falling across the capital city. Landing craft departed from its hangars, bringing medical supplies and reinforcements. In the governor's bunker, cheers erupted as communications were restored. Garcia received a direct transmission from the Nemesis. Novaterra, this is Admiral Thompson. The Veil have been neutralized. We're sending down medical teams and engineers to assist with repairs. Admiral, Garcia replied, his voice choked with emotion. You've saved over 5 million lives today. Just doing what should have been done years ago, Thompson answered. The Nemesis will remain in your system until the defense grid is back online. 2 weeks later, the Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The balance of power had shifted dramatically. Species that had once dismissed humanity as newcomers now sought alliances. The Nemesis had demonstrated that humans were not to be underestimated. Reed addressed the Council once more. The Nemesis is the first of its class. There are 4 more in production. We don't want to use them, we never did. What we want is cooperation. What are your terms, Ambassador? Asked the Moldorian representative, his tone respectful, where once it had been condescending. Joint defense initiatives, true information sharing, and recognition that when humanity issues a warning, it should be heeded. As the Council debated the proposal, Reed stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the galactic capital. His communicator chimed with a private message from Admiral Thompson. The Veil are retreating across all fronts, she reported. Word of the Nemesis has spread, but our analysts say they'll be back with greater numbers. Reed sighed. Then we'll be ready, and hopefully this time we won't stand alone. As he looked up at the stars, Reed reflected on the irony. Humanity had spent decades trying to avoid this conflict, seeking peaceful solutions while secretly preparing for war. Now that the myth had become reality, perhaps the galaxy would finally listen. Sometimes, Reed thought, the most effective warnings were the ones delivered through action rather than words.